This is a fantastic case study how incumbents survive and thrive from the HBR article by Professor Julian Birkinshaw. Incumbents versus new entrants. Incumbent companies are old economy companies, businesses already established in each market or industry. This article proves that it is a myth that technological destruction will destroy most old economy companies. In fact, the most established companies are operating very successfully in today's digital world. The internet revolution started in the mid 1990s. Only about 17 companies which are not there in the 2020 Fortune 500 list, which existed back in the Fortune 500 1995 list. It means about 483 companies which were there in the 1995 Fortune 500 list are also there in the 2020 Fortune 500 list. Industry transformation happens very slowly, and old economy companies can successfully respond to disruptive challenges in one of the four ways. The four ways are fight back, double down, retrench, move away, or diversify. If we are looking at Fortune 500 list by sector, there is a significant disruption in the sectors such as technology, media, telecom, retail, including restaurants and hotels. From the Fortune 500 list, we can segregate five categories. The five categories are new arrivals, mainstay, risers, followers, and the doomed. From the Fortune 500 list, the new arrivals, which are mostly digital firms on the 2020 Fortune 500 list that were established after 1995, are about 17. Of course, they are growing rapidly. The mainstays, which are the companies that made in both the years list, are about 198 companies, equally impressive in the continued growth compared to the new arrivals. The fallers, which are those on the 1995 list that were either sold or merged with another company. There are about 256 companies. Even fallers have managed to be profitable. Risers are those on the 2020 list that are already existed in some shape or form in the 1995 Fortune 500 list. There are about 54 risers. Risers have done better than the fallers in terms of profitability year after year. The doomed are the companies from the 1995 list that went bankrupt. There are only about 35 companies which have sustained such losses. Adaptation strategy. Porter's 5 forces analysis will be able to evaluate how digital technology affects each industry. Digital technology positively influences if it lowers the entry barriers, encourages new entrants, increases the buying power of customers, increasing the buying power of suppliers. After doing a 5 forces analysis, the company should work towards shoring up the entry barriers, increasing bargaining power, playing to their existing strengths. Strategy is a commitment to a course of action, and failure to making a choice can be fatal to the survival of the organization. There are four ways to respond to the digital disruption. There are benefits and risks to each strategy. The four adaptation strategies are fight back, double down, retrench, and move away. Fight back. In the fight back adaptation strategy, the benefits is by moving quickly, the company can keep the new entrants at bay, but the risk is it's hard to execute and easy to get the timing wrong. Fight back as an adaptation strategy. When companies face digital disruptor, the natural response is to fight fire with fire, to set up a competing digital unit and build an incubator to pursue a transformation. For example, British Airways launched a new service called Go, since sold to EasyJet. New York Times created nytimes.com. Major car makers moved into electric vehicles. In the fight back adaptation strategy, companies can go head to head against disruptors by setting up new units, by making acquisitions, by entering into a JV. Fight back as a strategy will be appropriate if the new technology and disruptors represents a threat to the survival of the organization. Second, In the double down as a strategy, the benefits of double down is the organization can leverage their long-term assets, but the risk is the market may not value those assets in the future. In double down as an adaptation strategy, the organization plays to its existing strengths. If the organization has strong assets that the market still values, doubling down on the existing strategy is likely to work out well. During the 2000s, Disney could have actually tried to compete with the streaming market, but instead, Disney chose to increase its strength in movie making business by buying Pixar and Marvel to create a string of blockbuster hits. By creating strong content library, Disney mustered a huge bargaining power with Netflix. In the early 2000s, Pfizer chose not to move into the unproven world of biotechnology. Instead, Pfizer wanted to capitalize in the marketing and distribution business areas with the acquisition of Warner Lambert, Parmesia, and Wayth. By doing this, Pfizer created assets like trusted brand, long-term relationship, worldwide reach by creating entry and mobility barriers that are extremely difficult for new entrants to overcome. Third, adaptation strategy is retrench. The benefits of retrench as a strategy are to reduce the threats from new entrants through scale and lobbying, but the risk is it is a recipe for managed decline and hard to sell to stakeholders. Retrenching is a way for companies to increase their bargaining power, reduce industry rivalry, and raise barriers to entry. Retrench as an adaptation strategy is a defensive move based on weakness and not on strength. In this strategy, the company yields ground to the new arrival and uses a variety of tactics to ensure the survival of the organization. One such tactics is merger and acquisition. During 2003, when faced with the rapid growth of digital market, camera makers Konica and Minolta agreed to merge. During 2016, the mobile infrastructure company Nokia Siemens Networks bought Alcatel-Lucent to stall the rapid growth of Huawei in 4G. Another tactics is to seek help from government and regulators in putting additional constraints on the new entrants. Taxi firms took help from government and regulators to put additional constraints to Uber when first it appeared in the market. In the same lines, many banks are working with the central banks and policymakers to regulate cryptocurrency. Move away as an adaptation strategy. The benefit is the organization can seize new opportunities in new markets. The risk is diversification is always very challenging to pull it off. If digitization is a threat to the existence of the company and if it is not in a good position to counter, moving away will be the best choice for the survival of the organization. In this move away strategy, the company migrates to new opportunities. During the 1990s, Thomson Corporation Canada sold its newspaper business and invested in information services through merger with Reuters. Fujifilm, once Kodak's biggest competitor, has now migrated and transformed itself into a successful healthcare, imaging, and materials firm. Organizations have to play the long-term game, stay alert, plot scenarios, be proactive, and find the adaptation strategy that best fits the organization's needs and capabilities. Question: which one among these four ways to respond to disruption, fight back, double down, retrench, and move away is the best strategic move and why? You may cite examples given in the case to support your point. Thank you for your time.